Hello. Good morning, good evening, whatever it is. Here's something for you to think about. It's about Destiny 2. Yeah, we're doing a Destiny 2 video because it's been a while and I'm trying to get back into Destiny 2 when the Witch Queen drops. But there's some stuff going on with the monetization there, because there always is. I did some digging, some investigative work, and I can tell you guys right now, it's not looking good, man. Destiny 2 is pretty much an annual release, kind of like games such as Call of Duty that just have a new instance coming out every single year. Every year players are asked and almost required to pay anywhere from 40 to 100 bucks depending on what edition you're getting. But then also, Destiny 2 is getting all the benefits that a game could possibly get because it labels itself as free to play. And the whole in-game economy regarding cosmetics, events, all the other stuff is all as if it's a complete free to play game. And on top of that, for an entirely new player to jump into Destiny 2 right now and be up to speed and get all the content that a veteran player would have, a new player is going to be required to pay almost $200. That's not entirely a free to play game, right? So just to let you know where I'm at, I haven't played Destiny for 6 months. I'm completely out of the loop. I haven't watched any videos on it. I actually just got done watching through all the Witch Queen stuff just a couple days ago, just to see what Bungie is planning for the next big installment of their game. And it looks pretty good, not gonna lie, looks pretty good. But as I was digging through all the stuff about all the different editions and what I should get if I wanna be able to properly make content on this game, some interesting things popped up. So first off, I hear about these dungeons that they're releasing, which is really nice. You know, 2 dungeons a year. I don't think anybody's complaining about that. But then I hear that they're not going to be included in their respective season passes. Ooh! Which is a bit of a bummer. You can only really get them if you buy the digital deluxe edition of the game, which I understand why Bungie's doing it. It's, you know, to push players to just buy the whole year up front, even though the seasons may not even be that good.
Let's see what we've got.
And personally, I'd say this is not gonna affect me that much, but it is a bit annoying. Myself, I know I'm the outlier. I know I'm the outlier Destiny 2 player that just doesn't care about gear and just wants to play the most fun activities in the game. But because I'm also creating content on the game, I usually get the season passes anyway, just in case there's something really good coming out, just so I don't have to worry about that. But I can understand that if there's other players like me who don't necessarily care about the seasonal activities, now they're gonna have to pay for all of them just to play these 2 dungeons. Not too great, right? Not too great. But then the next thing I hear about is this 30th anniversary pack where Bungie is celebrating their 30th anniversary. And the way that they celebrate this is by releasing another dungeon, which is great. Not for free though. No. Players will have to they'll have to pay up another 25 bucks just to play that one dungeon. 25 bucks for one dungeon. Does it come with an exotic that people have been looking forward to get since Destiny 1? Sure. Does it come with some different looking gear? Sure, but I'm not really sure if that's worth the price tag. It hurts especially because I can only compare the release of this dungeon to the most recent Prophecy dungeon that was released a couple months before Beyond Light came out. So also in the time before the DLC when content was really dry. Now I don't really want to say that all the dungeons should be free because the Prophecy dungeon was free. That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. The fact that Prophecy was free was nice. But it shouldn't always be the standard, right? Dungeons should not always be free or part of the main DLC already included. Because you could say that with Forsaken, yeah, we had the Shattered Throne there, which was included. But that's also when Destiny 2 was in a much different time in its lifespan. It's when Bungie was backed by Activision's ever-growing pile of money and ever-shrinking functional studios. And then you could say, well, we also had Pit of Heresy, where they already separated ways, and Pit of Heresy was also included with the DLC, but then I guess I could say that the dev team could afford to add the dungeon inside the main DLC because a big part of the main DLC was taken from Destiny 1. The moon itself, the destination, a lot of stuff there was reused, so more development time could be allocated to making that dungeon. I don't know if these arguments make a lot of sense, but those are the type of things I would say if I were to be defending Bungie. And then all the other half dungeon, half mission type things like Presage, that were included with the season pass, those are nice, but they're also not full-fledged dungeons. So you can't really say, oh, the presage was in the season pass, so all the other dungeons should also come with the season pass. It doesn't really add up perfectly like that. I don't really think it's fair to say that, but I do have to make the comparison to the Prophecy dungeon. Even back then, Bungie could have asked players to get the season pass for Season of the Arrivals to play the Prophecy dungeon, but that wasn't even required. It was just free to everybody.
It's going to be at a really high power level, which means it's like a solid day's work plus a little bit of skill.
It's free for all players.
And that's just such a big contrast between what they're currently doing, where even players that have the season pass right now for this season will still have to shell out another $25 just to play this dungeon. While this dungeon is also supposed to celebrate Bungie's 30th anniversary. Like, is this how you want your 30th anniversary to be remembered? As another cash grab just to get some extra money out of the players? That's what it looks like. For the sake of the video structure though, I don't want to linger on this one dungeon too much. I'll come back to this at the end of the video. For now, I'm just going to ignore this pain point, and I just want to get something straight before I move on. If you look at all the pricing, including this dungeon, it sums up to about €100 or $100. You have to pay $100 to get everything that Destiny has to offer for a whole year. Is that really that much different from buying a new Call of Duty and getting the deluxe edition there for $100? I think it's pretty similar. And of course the prices do not line up exactly. The casual Destiny player only has to shelf up $40, whereas the casual Call of Duty player, he will have to pay up the full 60. And in both cases, I guess the more dedicated players are going to have to give up $100 to get everything included. Although I would say that if you're a hardcore Call of Duty player, you still wouldn't need to get the limited or the deluxe edition just to get the full experience. But with Destiny, I feel like you have to do that. But that's just another point. We shouldn't get hung up on that. What is important, in my opinion, is that if you compare Destiny to other games, Destiny's offering year by year is very similar to what other games are doing that release on a yearly basis. Call of Duty being the best example. So surface level, you might say that, yeah, I guess the pricing, it hurts a little bit the way they're doing it. It hurts a little bit that we have to get the digital deluxe edition to get the 2 dungeons, but it's not too bad. It's not too bad to pay $100 to get all of the content for a whole year plus, right? But here's where things start to get spicy though, because what you shouldn't forget is that Destiny 2 is currently labeled as a free-to-play game. And they've been getting away with a lot of stuff that real free-to-play games also get away with, because it's labeled as free to play. For example, the cosmetics you can earn in the game. Nowadays, almost everything is behind a ridiculously high paywall inside of the AGER'S store. We're paying like $10 for an emote now, $15 for a set of armor. I don't know. It might depend where you live, how expensive those things are, but it's just ridiculous. And the AGER'S has always been a thing, but since Beyond Light, Bungie has really been dialing back the number of cosmetics that you could get by just playing the game. At least that's what it feels like. It has been restricting and pulling back how much Bright Dust you can earn per season, and it's been increasing how much Bright Dust you have to pay for something in the store. Shaders used to be like 40, now they're 300. And then the transmog system, I mean, I'm not gonna talk about it. There's enough videos on the internet already about just how bad this is and just how greedy Bungie got with this. There's the argument that a lot of people make that, hey, it's free to play, Bungie has to make the money somehow. You can't really be roasting them for this in a free to play game, but again, it is free to play, but it's also not really free to play. If you want to keep up and if you want to play the game, there's still that yearly paywall, especially for the more hardcore players. They're gonna have to shelf up 40 for the standard edition, and then another 40 for the dungeons and all the seasons, and another 25 for the dungeon that's coming out in December. That's not really free to play. Even when there are special events that should be a time to celebrate. Guardian games, other special events, you name it, Halloween events, I don't even know. Haven't been keeping up too much with what events they've had in the past half year. Maybe I've missed out on something, maybe not. But I remember that even in the events that I partook in, most of the rewards you can get are still locked behind a paywall inside of the AGER'S, instead of being obtainable while playing the event. There's maybe like a couple emotes you can get and that's it, right? And Bungie is getting away with this, again, because it's free to play. It's a free to play game. But it's not really any different from the yearly Call of Duty releases in terms of just selling a new game every year or selling a new DLC every year. And I think that this is what makes it especially painful in the eyes of a lot of people when Bungie pulls off shit like this. I actually did a new player's Destiny guide at the start of Beyond Light when it just released. And that's where I realized just how boneless this game actually is without the stuff that you have to pay for. You roam around on the planets and you can partake in some of the global events, or you know, you can do some PvP or play some strikes, and that's about it. That's about the experience you get when you're free to play. If you want to do anything meaningful, or if you want to experience any content that's actually good, then you're going to have to pay up. And this is what makes it really hard to sell Destiny to anybody as a must-play game right now. Yeah, the gameplay is good. Fuck yeah, the gameplay is good. It's just that it's so expensive to get into Destiny 2 right now. It's ridiculously expensive. Let's put a new player perspective into this video, right? Let's put that in here. You have this new player that wants to jump in because all his friends recommend Destiny, and he wants to play with all his friends, and he wants to do all the content, and he wants to get all the exotics, right? He really wants to get into Destiny. So you get the base game for free, and then he would think, all right, I'll just buy the Witch Queen Deluxe Edition, and I'll be set, right? And I'll include the dungeon too. I'm paying $100 up front just to get ready for the ride that's to come, because I'm excited for Witch Queen. But then he realizes that there's a lot more that you need to get. You need to get the Beyond Light DLC, which is $40 right now, but will probably be $25 when the Witch Queen drops. But still, you know, you have to pay $40 right now. Forsaken DLC, $25 right now. Shadowkeep DLC, another $25. And all of that you have to get just to not be locked out of content that everybody else might be playing, that your friends might be playing. Like, how is it a thing that this game is labeled free to play, and it has so many free to play things in the game that just greed out of the players, and then you still have to pay $190 up front just to be up to speed with the rest of the player base? That is ridiculous. But it gets even worse from here. So yesterday, I actually found out that they're removing the Tangled Shore and the Forsaken campaign with the launch of Witch Queen, which I thought was, it sucks a little bit because it's quite enjoyable, but I guess it's fine. You know, who really cares about the Tangled Shore anyway? And I was thinking, well, actually, this will be a nice thing, because now the rest of the Forsaken DLC, all of that content, the Last Wish raid, which is like the best piece of content Destiny still has to this day, I still feel that way, all of that will be free for everybody to experience, because the Forsaken DLC is going away, right? So surely whatever is left, the little pieces that are left of the Forsaken DLC, surely they will make that free, right? Right? Surely they will make those last bits and pieces of that DLC free, right? Wrong. Very wrong. Credit goes to Paul Tassi, actually. I found this out through one of his more recent videos. Been watching him a bunch just to get back into the whole Destiny grind, I guess. And through one of his more recent videos, I found out that Bungie will be changing what is left of the Forsaken DLC. They will turn that into a Forsaken pack that people can then buy separately, just so they have access to the Last Wish raid. Even with the majority of the DLC removed from the game, you will still have to buy a separate pack just to be able to play that little bit of content. Like, how are we not getting Last Wish and everything for free when you buy the digital deluxe edition of the most recent DLC? Like, how is that not a thing? You have got to be kidding me, right? You know, back whenever, 2.5 years ago, I was so happy to see Bungie and Destiny pushing the industry forward with the Activision split and the fact that Destiny went free to play now. I was like, damn, these developers, they're free now. They know they have a good product on their hand, and now they're just gonna make it better and make it a better experience for the players. And that's not entirely untrue. They have made the game a lot better for the players, but they've also somehow become even greedier. Like, it's costing even more money to play this game now than it did before. At this point, I don't think we can blame Activision anymore for any of that stuff. I think it's just mostly Bungie. Like, I'm not going to pretend that I know what it takes and how much money it costs to run a big game studio. I have no clue. But fuck me, man. This as hell should not be necessary. Anyway, that's it for me. Let me know if I missed anything. Maybe there's something that I missed about the monetization and got all wrong in this video. As I said, I did quite a bit of research, but it's entirely possible I missed something or misunderstood something. I'd love to have misunderstood something here. I mean, this video just started off as personal research to figure out what content's coming and what I would have to pay to be able to play all that content. And then it got so ridiculous, I just fell further down the rabbit hole. And I was like, hey, I might as well just make a video on it, right? So yeah, that's it. That's my rant for today. Thanks everybody for watching. Until the next one, goodbye.